Checking IDs is a critical component for businesses in our industry that serve beer, wine, spirits to our customers and guests. When you're getting the document, it's a two-step process. One is the document good? And then the second part of the process is, does this document belong to the person who's given it to me? And so in the process of checking documents, usually that starts with anybody who looks to be under 30 years of age. I need to see your ID. Now, what about that customer who comes in all the time and we've already checked their ID and they're young? Do I have to go through and recheck the document every time they come in? No, but you got to see it. They've got to have it on their person. So they've got to show it to you. You've got to train them. That's what you got to do. If law enforcement or the ABC ever came in, you look real young, you're going to be the first person that they go to check. We want you to not be inconvenienced by that process. There are many people who forge these documents. And so in this quick look at the document to be able to try to validate, is it real or not? There are some of those documents that are so good, the forgeries, you can't tell whether they're really real or not. And so Code Section 25660 says, as long as you can prove, the ABC code, as long as you can prove that you check, you ask for IDs, and that you have a process you go through, which I will enumerate for checking the documents, you should be held libel-less. Should be. That always depends on whatever circumstances might be going on at the time. So I'm going to get that document. Now, you got to take it out. The only thing you can touch is the document. Well, it's stuck in my wallet. It's really hard to get out. No, you got to take it out. Why don't you want to take it out? What'd you do to it? So the only thing you can touch is the document. Now, understand too that these documents are not all going to feel the same. There are a number of states like Texas and Oklahoma. They're making their documents out of plastic, and they're thick, and they're much more rigid than the California license. While I'm bending this, Tom is looking at me thinking, is he going to break my driver's license? Well, they're much more sturdy than being able to, they can hold up under this kind of activity. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it. Is it all one piece? Because even though there are a lot of forgeries out there, there are some people who are using a real document to modify the information. All they have to do is change 2 letters, the year of birth and when 21, to make them as old as they need to be. So they might cut the plastic, peel it back, or actually Photoshop the whole document, make those changes, and then print it up on photographic paper with a plastic lamination, and then cut it out and literally glue it onto the top. So you're going to bend it, flick it. It should have a ring to it, that it all is all in one piece. Put your fingernail across the front. Are there any cuts in the plastic? It's supposed to be one piece. When you look at the mag stripe on the back, California is still using a mag stripe. This is actually attached on top of the plastic lamination. And so if you put your fingernail across it, you can actually feel it. You can actually scratch it too if you go hard enough. Those are being eliminated by many states, and California will in the future as well, because they're very easily modified, trifled with. The 2-bar code here is really the much better form of encryption to be able to verify that it's real if you have special equipment to be able to do that. And those are available. A company called IntelliCheck has an app for your phone that will actually read the 2-bar code. Nobody's going to fool you on that one. And it's relatively inexpensive to use. Now, when we're looking at the front of the document, then we're going to look at all of the basic information. We're going to expect that things are looking very similar, line to line, colors, size of type of font, that they haven't been modified or changed, that everything is clear. If you have a black light, then a third picture comes up Many states have black light technology, and it will vary from state to state. So the ID book is really an important tool for being able to know what to look for. And I've got one right here. Every business that's checking IDs should have one of these books. It gets updated on a yearly basis, and it really has a lot of really good information. Even in California, every year the documents are changing. They're changing the background pictures. There's something that's being modified. We're going to then make sure that the picture looks, we're going to match it up. Is this the person who's in front of me? And when we're looking at the picture, cosmetically, people can change stuff, because maybe it doesn't belong to this person. So what you want to focus in on are the bone features in the central part of the face. And that's going to include the brow line, and it could include a hairline if that's pictured on the document, their nose, and their jawbone line. Those are actually the features that make us look like us, different from everybody else. We're going to look at that second picture. Is it screened? Does it look light? Many of the forgeries, they'll be on very thick platform, almost unbendable. If you use a flashlight behind the document to check the year of birth and when 21 that it looks okay, you won't be able to see the light come through to any appreciable amount. It'll block the light. So even in those states that are making them out of plastic, they're still translucent so that the flashlight will work behind the document. And make sure that that picture then looks like the big picture, but 50% of the picture is gone. So it should be lightly shaded. And you're checking the basic information, the year of birth, do your calculation, how old does it say they are, so that if you're asking them some questions, now as part of this process, you know what the answer is supposed to be. So maybe you have some reservation after you've gone through this process and you've checked on all these different points. So you can ask them a few questions. These are no-brainer questions. You should ask them quickly. They should be able to answer the questions quickly. So like, well, and you're looking at the document, so what's your middle name? Oh, well, how do you spell your middle name? What's your street address? What's your zip code? What year did you graduate high school? Oh, that's not on here. Oh, you catch them off guard. What's your zodiac sign? Now, a lot of people like to use zodiac sign. I know mine, but I haven't got a clue what anybody else's is. Really, truthfully, they don't know that, though, do they? Yeah, and you're going to be able to read body language at this point. You're going to get a lot of people who are going to be very calm and no problem. And then you're going to get people who are going to start to tense up and get very defensive. And they're going to say, maybe, hey, you're insulting me the way you're doing this, and I don't like it. Give me my ID back, and I'm out of here. Well, you did a good job, because most likely it wasn't theirs. They're not 21. So all these things can be done within just a few seconds. A very short, doing a really good job doesn't take a long time. And that's it.